Good morning, and welcome to Everything You Need to Know About the Certified in Public Health or CPH Credential webinar. This presentation will be about 45 minutes long with a 15-minute section for questions. You can key in your questions at the bottom right-hand corner of the screen, and I will try to answer them as we go along. For those of you that registered for the webinar, you'll receive an email from me afterwards with the CPH Candidate Handbook, the CPH Flyer, and the CPH Content Outline. For those of you who are on the line, I've put those handouts within the WebEx platform, so you should be able to see that there's a section called Handouts on the right-hand bottom of your screen, and there should be those 3 documents I just mentioned within the platform there. But don't worry, they'll be emailed to you as well if you can't access them right now. My name is Kate Brundage, and I'm the Certification Program Manager for the National Board of Public Health Examiners, or NBPHE. We're located in Washington, D.C., so if you have any questions, we are available by phone or email, and our email is info@nbphe.org. Today we'll be discussing NBPHE. I'll give you a brief history of NBPHE, the Board of Directors, some statistics and growth. We'll talk about the CPH benefits, testimonials. I'll talk a little bit about the program, the pilot program that we had, and some findings. And I'll give you a snapshot of employers who are actively seeking the CPH professional right now in their job postings. We'll go ahead with the CPH process. I'll explain the certification overview, eligibility, what it means to be a provisional CPH versus what it means to be an active CPH. We'll go over the exam content, computer-based versus pencil-based, registering for the exam, how the exam is scored. We'll go into some study resources as well as the exam fees. We do offer some discounts for the CPH exam, so we'll go into those as well. And then we'll finish up with CPH recertification. So the Certified in Public Health, or CPH credential, is the only credential in public health that demonstrates not only your knowledge and mastery of key public health sciences, but that it also shows your commitment to the field through continuing education focused on emerging and established public health issues. The CPH credential distinguishes you as a public health professional at the cutting edge of an ever-evolving field. The CPH is not just a credential. The CPH is not just an exam, it's a credential, which means it has a governing board of directors, has eligibility requirements, an entrance exam, a recertification process every 2 years, a code of ethics, which all CPHs must adhere to, and the CPH exam acts as a standard benchmark to measure an individual's grasp of contemporary public health topics. The recertification process elevates public health professionals to be on par with other health professions, maintenance of their licenses, certification, or credentials. The CPH Code of Ethics, which all CPH professionals must agree to uphold, assures the essential services are being delivered based on evidence and equity. So the history of the NBPHE, it begins in 1980 when the U.S. Surgeon General Office came out with a call to the field to establish a task force for the credentialing of public health workers. In 1999, Dr. Mohammed Akhtar, the executive director of APHA at the time, and Dr. Al Summer, dean of Johns Hopkins Bloomberg School of Public Health and chair of the board of the Association of Schools and Programs of Public Health, or ASPPH, they decided to jointly form the APHA-ASPPH Task Force on Public Health Work Credentialing. In 2005, the NBPHE was established with a board of 20 members, and the inaugural certification CPH exam was administered both in the U.S. and international locations in August of 2008. The NBPHE announced its award of its inaugural CPH certification credential to over 500 qualifying professionals. The NBPHE Board of Directors is comprised of 6 executive committee members. 13 of them are members at large, 2 honorary members, and 2 staff members. The following logos are some of the organizations that employ NBPHE board members. These organizations support the efforts of the NBPHE in credentialing of public health professionals. And they do this by spreading the mission, the word and the mission of the credential. Some of the organizations here you'll see the American Public Health Association, the Association of Prevention, Teaching, and Research, Association of Schools and Programs of Public Health, Association of State and Territorial Health Officials, National Association of County and City Health Officials, Robert Wood Johnson Foundation. You'll also see that the Council on Education for Public Health is listed, or CEPH. CEPH is the organization that accredits schools and programs of public health. So students and alumni of CEPH-accredited schools and programs of public health are eligible to sit for the exam. There are 4 pathways of eligibility for the CPH exam, but we'll get into that a little bit more later. Another accrediting body that you'll see listed is FAB. They are the Public Health Accreditation Board. You may have seen an advertisement for the CPH and FAB's newsletter, or the American Public Health Association's newsletter. The NBPHE also hosts a 2-day learning course for the CPH exam called the APHA CPH Learning Institute, and we host that every year at the American Public Health Association's annual meeting. So stay tuned for 2017 CPH Learning Institute dates and information. Since 2008, the NBPHE has credentialed over 5,500 CPH professionals. There are 500 provisionally certified CPHs at any given time, and we'll go over what it means to be provisionally certified versus an active CPH a little bit later. We have about 2,000 applicants in the pipeline at any given time, and there are now 11 CEPH accredited schools and programs of public health requiring the CPH exam for their students to graduate. Because of this, the cost of the CPH exam is reduced, and the study materials are offered to these schools at no additional cost. There are 10 schools and programs that have about 20 to 30% of their student body sit for the exam, and they're extended the discount as well. We also have 5 organizations that are endorsing the CPH for their membership or personnel. These organizations are the Commissioned Officers Association, or the United States Public Health Service, the Army Public Health Center, recently the Army Nurse Corps, Navy Nursing Corps, and members of the American Public Health Association, or APHA. The ASPPH, or the Association of Schools and Programs of Public Health, the fellowship program, has also embraced the culture of certification, and fellows are all going to sit for the exam to get the CPH credential as well. Here's a graph of the growth of CPH since inception in 2008. Okay. So why the CPH? The CPH credential is populating the public health workforce, from academic institutional interests looking to utilize the CPH exam for graduation, to organizational interests looking to have their staff, and in some cases entire departments, get certified to meet a professional standard. To the students and alumni, and recently individuals in public health workforce looking to professionalize the field, not only to build their resume, but to build a community of leaders in public health. The CPH is your moment to outshine your competitors. For students, you can prepare your resume for entering the workforce with a reputable credential that employers are recognizing and preferring in their job postings. For those of you who are currently working in public health, the CPH can lead to promotions, salary increases, and by showing that you are a pioneer and leader dedicated to furthering your career and professionalizing the field of public health. So the #1 vision of the NBPHE is to professionalize the field of public health and to raise the visibility of the field itself. And we do this by, we strive to do this by administering the only public health examination that encompasses the core areas and cross-cutting areas of public health. We want to create an elite community of certified graduates, working professionals, faculty, leaders, and pioneers in public health. The CPH credential, like most certifications, demonstrates dedication and commitment to the field of public health beyond your education and into the workforce. The vision includes having a core standard body of knowledge for public health professionals, and lastly, to promote continuing education and lifelong learning. There are many reasons to get certified. Public health professionals need to stay at the forefront of their field. This is accomplished by thoroughly understanding the interaction between different specialized areas of public health, learning new strategies to cope with disasters, and constantly working to stay ahead of any threat. The CPH credential helps public health professionals to achieve these evolving goals. Some of the benefits include distinguishing yourself from others with a credential in public health that encompasses all 5 core areas and cross-cutting areas of public health. Show off your public health expertise by evidencing mastery of core sciences of public health. Demonstrate commitment to the field beyond your academic training. Add cohesiveness and collaboration with your professional peers by starting from a common foundation or elite community. And it's an investment in your career and future, distinguishing you from other job applicants. Tells employers and the public that you're of your constant level of preparedness. It certifies your commitment to public health, raising the bar in public health by increasing professionalism, creating awareness of the importance of the quality of public health workforce, staying current on best practices in education, and lastly, to assure the community that which you serve and protect that you've met and maintain a national professional standard. I want to read a few testimonials off to you, and then we'll get into the eligibility and the exam content. Tanya Smith was one of our pilot program candidates. I'm going to talk a little bit about the pilot program in a few slides. And Tanya says that though I don't hold an MPH, I bring many years of invaluable real-world public health experience to the table. I reviewed the ASPPH CPH study guide as well as other study resources. 3 months later, I successfully passed the first exam to be offered to candidates based solely on my prior work experience. It has been one of my proudest professional accomplishments. Salary increases and promotions. This is Laura Ricardo. She is one of our CPHs with the Army Nurse Corps, and she says that once she received her passing notice of the CPH exam, she received an $80,000 incentive bonus offered at that time in 4 increments and has continued to proudly serve her commission. It also shows that you have can prove that you have met and maintained a national standard in public health. This is Patrick Harper of the United States Public Health Service, and he says that my CPH affirms that I possess the means to positively change lives, and it motivates me to remain dedicated to doing just that. I accept this challenge proudly in honor of my fellow CPH certified colleagues, my branch of service, and most importantly, the nation whose health I have sworn to promote, protect, and advance. So I want to pause here really quickly just to tell you about our pilot program that we launched. In March of 2015, the NBPHE board voted to hold a modified eligibility for the CPH exam to determine whether the knowledge and skills assessed by the CPH exam are relevant to the public health practice and if they can be acquired by individuals who are currently working professionals in public health. Previously, all candidates were required to have at least taken the core courses at a public health institution, at a CPH accredited public health institution. The pilot allowed candidates who had a bachelor's degree and at least 5 years of public health work experience to sit for the exam. The board originally set a target for 100 candidates for the pilot, but ended up with over 800 applications. Over 50% of the approved candidates were the Commissioned Officers Association of the United States Public Health Service, many working agencies such as the Food and Drug Administration, Indian Health Service, and the Bureau of Prisons as well. Because of the success of the pilot, the NBPHE Board of Directors voted in favor of adopting the pilot program as new eligibility criteria. So the pilot no longer exists, but we do have the eligibility criteria in place that you can have a bachelor's degree plus 5 years of public health work experience to obtain the credential. But again, we'll go into eligibility just in a moment. But since the pilot program, the visibility of the CPH has increased, and employers are beginning to put a preference or a requirement for the credential to work in public health. We're also seeing health departments and large organizational groups inquiring on how to get their staff and employees certified, and many groups are joining on to our discount program. Here is a list, it's a snapshot of employers that are currently seeking active CPH professionals in their job postings. Okay, so let's get into it. This is the CPH process. We're going to begin with eligibility. The first step in the certification process is to determine your eligibility to see if you're eligible to sit for the exam. Then you would sit for the exam. There's 200 questions, multiple choice with 12 domain areas. After you're certified, you would recertify every 2 years and sign the Code of Ethics every 2 years. So eligibility. Our first eligibility criteria is alumni. All graduates of CEPH accredited schools and programs of public health are eligible to sit for the exam. Students. Graduate students who are currently enrolled in the core coursework at a CEPH accredited school or program of public health are eligible to sit for the exam. They need to have either taken or been enrolled in biostatistics, epidemiology, environmental health, health policy and management, and the behavioral sciences. Now, there is a difference between when an alumni sits for the exam and a student sits for the exam, but I'll touch upon that in one moment. We have another eligibility criteria, which is our new eligibility criteria. It is an individual who has a bachelor's degree plus 5 years of public health work experience. And you want to make sure that your public health work experience aligns with the CDC 10 essential public health services, or aligns with at least one of them. We also have a hybrid eligibility, which is a combination of the education and the experience. So we have students, we have alumni, we have individual with 5 years public health work experience, and then we have a fourth criteria, which is an individual who has obtained a relevant degree to public health, but who has taken those core courses at a CEPH accredited school or program of public health. So I mentioned we were going to talk about the difference between provisionally certified versus active CPH, and I'm going to talk about that right now. So when an alumni of the CEPH accredited school and program of public health sits for the exam and they pass, they're automatically an active CPH. They're certified. They will receive their certificate in the mail, we'll put them on the CPH registry, and they're good to go. Students who sit for the exam, they're currently still enrolled in the courses. So they're going to be provisionally certified, which means you can't start accumulating credits for recertification, and you're not going to get your certificate yet, but you are provisionally certified, which means you have successfully passed the exam. So for those folks, once you graduate, that's when we're going to certify you. And I'll tell you a little bit more about the process in a bit. But your school or program of public health would contact us, let us know that you have graduated and completed the core, and then you would become an active CPH, and you would receive your certificate and lapel pin, and we would put you on the registry, and you would also have access to the CPH recertification portal. So that's the difference between whether a student sits for the exam or an alumni sits for the exam. I'm going to pause here just to see if there are any questions, and then we'll get into the exam content. Okay. Doesn't look like there are any questions yet. So the CPH exam, the exam has a section called General Principles, which will have 25 items. These are things you should know if you're in public health, just general knowledge that you should definitely know if you're working or if you're interested in public health. Then the core areas is the bulk of the exam, and then we have 25 items of cross-cutting questions. So the core areas, again, are biostatistics. You'll have 30 items in bio, 30 items in epidemiology, 30 in environmental health, 30 in health policy and management, and 30 in social and behavioral sciences. The cross-cutting sections are here as well. The cross-cutting areas are communication and informatics, diversity and culture, leadership, professionalism, program planning, public health biology, and systems thinking. So you're going to have 25 items in that category. The CPH exam is a timed exam. It's 200 items with 4 hours to sit for the exam. No calculators or scratch paper are allowed in the examination. However, the biostatistics and any kind of math that you're going to need to do would either be simple math where you wouldn't need a calculator, or it's going to be based on recognizing formulas rather than actually doing the math yourself. All questions are multiple choice again and single best answer. There are 2 exam options. We have the exam by computer-based, but we also offer paper and pencil exams sporadically throughout the year. Now, most of the time, the schools and programs that are having their candidates or their students or alumni sit for our exam will set up a paper and pencil examination. And if one's in your area, you're welcome to sit for the exam at that location. They're few and far between, but you can check our website and see when those are held. The computer-based exam is held every year during the whole month of February, the whole month of June, and the whole month of October. You can test, I believe it's actually Monday through Sunday rather than Monday through Saturday, and there's about 10 to 15 different testing facilities per state. So you would go to our website and key in your zip code and find a testing location near you and register for the exam. And then you would just journey to that testing facility on that day and sit for the exam. So there is a difference between computer-based exams and the paper-based, besides the fact that the computer-based happens more frequently and the paper-based are more sporadic. The computer-based, you are going to receive your scores instantly when you test. So if you really want to know how you fared on the exam, you want to do the exam by computer-based, a printout will be given to you at the end of your session. And just a reminder that you have 72 hours to register in advance of the exam or to reschedule. So rescheduling is kind of a big deal. So you need to reschedule 72 hours beforehand, and the first reschedule will be free. The second reschedule is $125. The paper-based exams are done a little bit differently because we have to collect the scores and analyze them and run the scantrons through machines and such. We're not going to be able to get your scores to you for about 3 to 4 weeks after you test, and there is a 30-day registration deadline. So if you decide you want to take the exam it's probably, and you don't have that much time to schedule, it's better to sit by computer-based because you'll have 72 hours to register rather than this 30-day registration deadline where you need to register far in advance. And again, that doesn't include instant scoring. You'll receive your scores by email or by mail. So registering for the CPH exam, there are 2 ways to apply. Students and alumni we'll go over first. On the bucket on the left, you'll see it says student and alumni. You will go to our website and go to register now. When students and alumni click on that button for register now, it's going to kick them to our testing vendor's site. Our testing vendor is PSI AMP. And what you will do there is create an online account. And once you select your school in the drop-down, that will kick an email to your university. They will go into our system and verify that, yes, you are enrolled in the core courses and can sit for the exam, or yes, you have graduated from this school or program and can sit for the exam. And then once they verify your education or graduation date, you'll get an email to schedule your exam and pay online. We do have discounts, which I will mention towards the end of the presentation, but there are some discounts available, as well as there is a voucher program, which I can go into a little bit later. But you'll schedule your exam online, and as I said, the first reschedule is free. The second reschedule is $125. So please be sure to keep that in mind when scheduling your exam. So let's go back to the registration center. You're going to go to register now, and if you are a public health professional who's currently working in the field who wants to qualify with a bachelor's and 5 years of public health work experience, you're going to click on the little bucket in the middle. When you click on that, it's going to take you to a web form for you to fill out all of your information. You're going to enter in your public health work experience up to 5 years, and you're going to want to include a reference with that, just somebody who is above you and can verify the dates that you were employed. And then you want to upload your transcripts and your resume. You're going to pay online, and then that will kick us an email to review your application. The NBPHE Board of Directors will review your application and decide if your experience does relate to the CDC 10 Public Health Essential Public Health Essential Services, and from there we will contact your references and look at your transcripts. If you're approved to sit for the exam, you don't have to do anything but sit back and wait for us to notify you. NBPHE, our testing vendor, will contact you to schedule the exam. If you're not approved for the exam, we'll contact you and you'll be refunded in full. So scheduling, rescheduling, and deferring your exam. After you sign up for the exam, you have 2 years of eligibility. All scheduling, rescheduling, deferrals, all of that will go through AMP. So though there are 2 different ways to apply, everything at the end ends up in our testing vendor system, and so they will be handling all the scheduling, rescheduling, deferrals. So you will want to call them, and this is their phone number. And again, just one more time, I'm going to say it. The first time is free to reschedule, but the second time is $125. Okay, so how is the CPH exam scored? Each item is examined for its performance and difficulty. Following a testing administration, the form review committee examines the performance of each item and makes adjustments for items which do not discriminate between strong and weak examinees or simply do not perform well. At least one new form or test is developed each year. A form review committee reviews each item as a whole and makes further edits to the individual items in addition to the composition of the form itself. Because of this, the required score to pass is different for each exam. However, each exam is equated to be fair to the candidates. So I can't tell you what the passing score is because it's going to be different on each exam because of these analyses. However, the pass rate is that more than 75% that sit for the exam pass the exam. And this is a content-based analysis. It determines the minimum passing standard required to achieve certification. The CPH exams are created using multiple choice test items drawn from a CPH item bank. The NBPHE selects faculty and practitioners each year to write new items for these item banks. And the item writers are trained on writing items for standardized exams. They're given specific assignments based on deficits in the item bank and their particular area of expertise. Then new item writers are assigned to an experienced item writer for mentorship, who assists them with editing the questions before they are submitted to the pool. More experienced item writers submit their items directly to the new item pool for review, and new items are categorized by the level of difficulty and specific area of knowledge of the content outline that the item addresses. Items are then submitted to a review committee who refine and edit the items before they're submitted to the bank for a second review. And again, following the testing administration, the form review committee examines the performance of each item and makes adjustments. A third committee then sets the passing score based on the modified Angoff method. The modified Angoff method aims to pass candidates who are minimally competent. When you receive your scores, as I mentioned before, if you sit for the exam by computer-based, you're going to get your scores immediately as a printout. When you receive your username and password to the CPH recertification portal, you're also going to have your score report. It's going to live there too. So you'll have it online digitally through your recertification portal. And then candidates who do not pass the exam will be sent their scores. However, it'll be a scaled scoring. So that way you'll be able to see which area you need to work on in order to retake the exam and pass. Just a little note here that the schools and programs, if you're if you're applying as a student or an alumni, your scores are going to be sent to your school. Your school will not share the scores with anybody. It's all confidential. However, the schools do use the scores in order to beef up their curricula and to see in which area their students and alumni are faring and passing and that sort of thing for statistics. The retaking of the exam, there's multiple testing administrations a year. The computer-based exams, February, June, and October. At this time, if you took it in the beginning of February and you didn't pass, you could go ahead and take it at the end of February, and there's no limit on how often candidates can retest. I'm going to just stop real quick before we go into study materials and see if there are any questions. Okay, 1 second here. So an international student or alumni can sit for the exam. They have to check the eligibility to make sure that they're eligible under one of the 4 criteria, and then we have international testing facilities throughout the world. So yes, you can sit anywhere in the world for the CPH exam. Spaces do not run out typically for the computer-based exams, so you can wait for the week that you want to schedule it for. That's up to you. Registration for computer-based is open all year round, so if you're trying to sit for the October examination now, you can go ahead and register for that. That's all set up and ready to go. Let's see. Again, you'll know your score at the end of the exam by computer-based, whether you passed or failed. And as I mentioned, we cannot tell you the exact score that you'll need in order to pass the exam because of how the exams are analyzed after each testing administration. And if you registered for the exam and you're only getting computer-based testing, let me see, that one we'll go back to. All right, there's a lot of questions. I'm gonna hold off and get to them because some of them pertain to what I'm about to talk about, and we'll get back to that. But these slides actually will not be made available, but they will be online on a YouTube link, so you'll be able to listen to the presentation again. So CPH study resources. We have the CPH content outline. We have sample exam questions. We have a couple practice exams, and we have some webinars. The CPH content outline I have dropped into the handout section of the WebEx platform, so you should have this. It is your map to the exam. If it's on this content outline, it's going to be on the exam. So this is really what you want to use as your guide when you're studying, and it's best to use this as you go through the ASPPH CPH study guide to just make sure that you're hitting all the points and you're getting all the information that's on that content outline. We have sample questions. They're all online, and these are just to show you the format of the exam. We have 3 different practice exams, so you can go to our website and take, I believe there are 2 that are 50 questions and 1 that's a 100-question exam. So you can go ahead and practice with that. And then we have our ASPPH CPH study guide. This is our online interactive study guide that's on the website. It's $39.99. It has an overview of each area, suggested readings, definitions and terminology, sample questions, sample answers, 100 question practice tests, 2 50-question practice tests, and study tips. Now, so what you want to do is you want to purchase the ASPPH CPH study guide. You'll get a username and password to log into the study guide, and you want to use that CPH content outline that I dropped into the handouts, and you want to use both of these as your resources. We also have 3-hour-long webinars on each of the core areas and one on the cross-cutting area. And these are recorded every January with a subject matter expert. We are actually gearing up to hold these webinars for January. They're on the website. If you want to go ahead and register and listen to any of these presentations, they're free to listen to, and they will help you to prepare for the CPH exam. So you want to go to our website and go to study resources, because these webinars, the links are up, so you can go ahead and register for each of these core area presentations that will help you to prepare for the CPH exam. As I mentioned at the beginning of the presentation, every year at the APHA, or the American Public Health Association annual meeting, we hold a 2-day learning course. It's actually a learning institute, and this year, in 2017, APHA is going to be holding their annual meeting in Atlanta, Georgia, between the dates of November 4th through 8th. So we'll be holding the CPH Learning Institute for 2 days during that conference. It's usually about the weekend right before the conference begins, actually, but we don't have the date set up yet. However, stay tuned. The fee for that is $350, and what you would do is you would sit in a classroom for 8 hours for 2 days, learn about the core areas with subject matter experts, and then you would have the opportunity to sit for the exam the following day at the APHA annual meeting. However, it would be paper and pencil, so like I said, you wouldn't receive your scores for a few weeks in the mail. We have some schools and programs that are requiring the exam for graduation, as I mentioned. So here are the pricing and the discounts. The standard fee for the exam is $385. If you have about 20 to 30% of your school or program are sitting for the exam, the fee goes down to $315. If you're a large organizational group that wants to get your department certified, or organizations such as APHA who are offering a discount to all of their members for the CPH exam, the fee will go down to $315. The study materials will also be available to you for free if you are part of this 20% to 30% graduating class or organizational group. For those schools and programs that are requiring the exam, the CPH exam has gone down to $250, and they also receive the study materials for free. So as I said, there are schools and programs that are using and requiring the exam. Some of those schools are listed here. You'll see that these schools are offered the $250 exam fee and free study materials for having their students be required to sit for this exam in order to graduate. And then here's a list of schools that are offering a discount for volume discount. Let's see. The organizations that are currently offering a discount on the CPH exam are as follows: the American Public Health Association, the Association of Schools and Programs of Public Health Fellows, Army Public Health Center. We recently obtained Army Nurse Corps, which is not listed here, Commissioned Officers Association, the United States Public Health Service, and the Navy Nurses Corps. Okay, I'm going to jump back to questions before we go into recertification. So when you're a student and you sit for the exam, after you graduate, it's on the onus of the school to log back into the system to say that you have graduated in our system, and from there we'll be kicked an email to send you a certificate. Sometimes it might be better for you to reach out to your school to say, please verify me. In other cases, you can contact me and I'd be happy to send them a reminder. But this can take as little or as much time as the school would like, depending on when they verify you. For those of you that have specific questions about your eligibility, it's best to email me. It looks like we have a bunch of questions that are more specific than group specific. So if you could email me, I'd be happy to look at your eligibility and let you know. The way that you know if your school offers a discount or the study materials for free is to go to our website, and you want to go to CPH group discounts, and it'll have a list of all the schools and programs that are offering a discount, as well as the organizations that are offering a discount as well. If you fail the exam, the cost is going to be $385 to retest. So somebody is asking if you want to apply through the public health workforce experience and you have, it requires the 5 years of work experience, and you have an MPH from a non-CEF accredited school or program of public health, can any of those years qualify? So you would have to have the bachelor's plus 5 years. And yes, if you don't attend the webinars, they will be posted online. They're free to listen to. They'll be posted on YouTube. So those will all be on our website as well. You'll be able to get to them from there. And yes, the study session webinars will be recorded. So just to answer one specific question, Nova Southern Eastern University, I believe they are CEPH accredited, however, they're not participating in the discount program. Okay, so if I didn't answer your question, go ahead and email us at info@nbphe.org. It might just mean that it's a little specific and I need a little bit more clarification. So the CPH recertification process, it's a biannual recertification process with CEs. You're going to obtain 50 CE credits every 2 years. So that breaks down to about 25 credits per year. You're going to report it, self-reporting, in your online reporting portal. It's the CPH recertification portal. Once you pass the exam, you're going to get your username and password, and you're going to be able to go ahead and start keying in your activities for recertification. And the fee is $95 every 2 years. So some activities include college courses. So if you are a student and you sit for the exam and you graduate, you're going to be able to use those college courses as recertification credit. So for college courses, you're going to get 15 CPH credits per course. So that's kind of a lot if you think about it. And also conferences and professional events. You're going to get 1 CPH credit per 1 hour of attendance, up to 8 hours a day, or 8 credits, capped at 8 credits a day. So you can imagine if you go to APHA, it's a 3 to 4 day conference, you're going to obtain many, many credits for recertification. Faculty, instruction, professional contributions, leadership, such as sitting on a chair, being a chair, or sitting on a committee, volunteer work, caps at about 20 CPH credits. So if you're doing volunteer work in public health, you can count 20 CPH credits for recertification. If you're writing your dissertation, that's about 25 credits. So if you're working on your dissertation for about 2 years, you can count 50 CPH credits and be done. You're recertified. We also give credits for testimonials, CPH item writers. There's lots of different opportunities. We have those, like I mentioned, those 3-hour-long webinars on our website. You know, if you're finding you're short of CPH credits, you can just go and watch those, and that will give you 18 CPH credits right there and then. Medical residencies also count towards recertification. I believe they're 25 credits per year. So the recertification portal, this is what it looks like currently. You're going to see your name. Under your name, you're going to have digital badges. You're going to have up at the top, you'll see dashboard, My Certification. The My Certification tab will have your score report, so you can always know how you did on the exam. And you're going to see here a pie chart. It's going to tell you how many credits you need to obtain in order to go ahead and recertify. It's going to have your recertification deadline. You're going to have a way at the bottom where it says find credits and providers. You're going to have a way to find approved activities that you will know will count for recertification. That being said, you can also count non-pre-approved activities for recertification as long as they pertain to one of the public health domain areas. So, you know, somebody had a question about whether Six Sigma counts, which is an improvement credential. That would be related under professionalism. So, so it doesn't have to just be epidemiology and biostatistics. It can relate to the cross-cutting areas as well in communications, informatics, professionalism, leadership. All right, you're also going to, you'll see at the bottom it says report activity. That's where you're going to click to start keying in your activities. You can also request an extension, and you can view your past recertification history. So on our website, we have a place where you can find approved activities. As a CPH, you can log into the system and see, or if you're just curious beforehand, you know, you're thinking about getting certified, you want to know what's going to count in the future, you can go to our website, and there's the list is there as well to see what kind of credits will count towards recertification. So you can find the approved activities within the portal. You can search by in-person or distance learning and just hit submit, and you'll see a listing of everything that's in-person that's approved or distance learning that's approved. You can also contact me if you go to an event that you think should be approved, and I will reach out to them to see if they would like to become a pre-approved provider of NBPHE CE credits. I mentioned we have digital badging. So this is to increase engagement of CPH. You'll see here that the badges are like Superstar Attendee, Star Presenter. So if you are just presenting posters and abstracts and just presenting like crazy out there at public health conferences, you're going to notice that your badge can either be gray, it can be green, or it can be green with the salmon color around it. So the more you do, the more you earn, and the more colorful the badges get. And we have a CPH registry. So when you become certified, your name will be in here. So employers can go to our website and type in your last name, and you will pop up as an active NBPHE CPH certified professional. You will also your digital badges will also show up here, and they can print your certificate cover letter. We want you to stay connected. So many of you found out about this webinar through our Facebook, so thank you. We're always posting things about new recertification opportunities on Facebook and LinkedIn. So the Facebook group is open to everyone. However, the LinkedIn group is only for those who are CPH certified. So once you sit for the exam, we'll send you an invitation to join our LinkedIn page, and then you'll be able to get updates on all sorts of different things, where we're exhibiting, where we're going to be, you know, if there's any changes with the exam, or any kind of updates on recertification. We also have CPH merchandise, so after you're certified, you can go to Cafe Press /CPH, and you can purchase all sorts of different items to show that you are a CPH. We're going to be issuing virtual certificates, which are really cool. They can link to your LinkedIn page, and you can put them in your email signature. We're going to be doing virtual certificates for 2017, as well as a hard copy here you can see, which you can request. And so that's basically the program in a nutshell. I'm going to see if there are any questions. I just want to say that you should invest in your career in public health by sitting for and successfully obtaining the CPH credential. With the CPH credential already in hand, you're making yourself more marketable and competitive against other applicants in the job market. So let's see what kind of questions we have left. Each credit for recertification is equivalent to 1 hour. So 1 hour webinar is 1 credit. And we round up. So if you attend a CDC Grand Rounds webinar that is an hour and a half, they're typically an hour and a half, you would count 2 CPH recertification credits. So if you let your recertification lapse and you just forgot to put in the credits, or you didn't have enough time, you can always ask for an extension. However, you're not going to ever need to resit for the exam. Once you're certified, you pass the exam. So what you would have to do in order to recertify and reinstate that CPH if you're lapsed is you would have to accumulate the credits that you missed for the lapse cycles plus pay for the lapse cycles. Credits don't roll over, and they're not retroactive. You have to be, you have to start accumulating the credits from the day you're certified, going forward, and they don't roll over to the next recertification. I believe in order to have access to the audio to the webinars, the webinars on each of the core areas, I believe that you would need to register, and you can find other registration links on our website. So yes, again, you want to register for the webinars rather than just watch them. You have, in order to watch the webinars, you would need to register to get the registration link. I assume that USDA FSIS conferences count for CPH recertification credits. However, you would have to explain how it pertains to one of the public health domain areas. And veterinarian residencies will count towards recertification, yes. At this point, the CPH hard certificate that you would receive in the mail there's no cost. And as I said, I think the best way to study is with the CPH content outline and the ASCPH CPH study guide, as well as listening to the 3-hour-long webinars, and maybe even taking out your textbooks from the universities that you attended. So as a provisional CPH, you cannot start accumulating credits until you're actively certified. And recertification is based on CE credits, not an examination. Okay, let's see. Pharmacy residencies count for recertification, yes. The website for NBPHE is www.nbphe.org, and that's like National Board of Public Health Examiners.org. Our email is at the bottom of the screen right now, info@nbphe.org, and feel free to email me your questions. And the link for the YouTube video will be emailed with this after this presentation. Once we get it all uploaded and everything with IT, I'll go ahead and send out an email with the handouts and a link to this presentation. The links for the January webinars won't be up until after the presentations have been given. So we have an individual who says that he's visiting from China and he'll only be here for 1 year. Is it possible to apply for the examination? You can apply for the examination as long as you're eligible. So you have to read the eligibility requirements, make sure that you fit into one of our eligibility criteria, and then you can sit for the exam, and then you would just have to keep recertifying every 2 years. And you can earn credits from anywhere in the world. They just have to pertain to public health. So somebody asked how they determine whether 20 or 30% of their graduating class is sitting for the exam. this is something that your program administrator would probably come to us and tell us that they want to offer a discount and that they are willing to commit to 20 to 30% of the student body sitting for the exam. So you would probably hear from your program director or administrator whether they were part of the discount program unless they're listed. So if you are interested, if you're a program administrator on this call and you're interested in learning more about the discount program, please email me. We will get you all set up. And yeah, I can tell you more about that if you go ahead and just send me an email. And it looks like that might be it. If I didn't answer your question, please go ahead and email me, info@nbphe.org, and I'd be happy to answer your questions. Thank you so much for today, and I hope you all have a great day.